Podcast Network.
Doesn't it? It did. Joe Cox with an up and out. Wide open. Touchdown. Israel Troop.
Snap to Young. Drops back. Pressure from the edges. He throws near sideline. And it's intercepted. Intercepted. Keely Ringo at the 21. Off he goes. 40, 50, 45, 40, 35, 30. Near sideline. Breaks the tackle. 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown. 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 Georgia.
Good evening, neighborhood. How about them Dawgs?
32, 18. Let the celebration begin.
All right. Good evening, everybody. All you dog fans and dog nations, welcome to the Bleav in Georgia Dogs podcast on the Bleav Network, coming at you on our YouTube channel, also coming at you on social media and wherever you find your podcasts, including our newly found location, the SiriusXM app. You can search Bleav in Georgia Dogs on SiriusXM app, TuneIn Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere you can find it. Joining me is the man, the myth, the legend, the second round Gator himself. It's Israel Troop, man. What's up?
What up? What up? Glad to be back. Hectic last week, especially with the hurricane coming through, but I'm back.
Yeah, he's back and better than ever. We got a lot to talk about. What's up to all our listeners in Singapore, Northern Ireland, the Republic of Norway, and all around the world? Welcome to the show. We are presented by betonline.ag. It continues to be your number one source for all sports betting. This season, you'll find the latest odds, team matchup information, player news, game trends at BetOnline. As your continued source for all sports wagering information, BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and giveaways all season long. Always the fastest and easiest way to bet all your favorite sports and events, whether that's the NFL, the NBA, NHL, college football, MMA, boxing, tennis, even golf, even politics, whatever you want to do. All right, so head to betonline.ag to join. Receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Make sure you use that promo code Bleav to receive your rewards. BetOnline, it's where the game starts. I actually took a 4-team money line parlay. Guess who screwed it up?
We did.
No. We got it. It was Wisconsin.
Oh
no, I didn't. I knew better than to put any real money on Kentucky. Wisconsin was basically a pick 'em.
Yeah, it was.
All I had to do was win. They didn't win. Messed up my parlay.
They did not.
Yeah. Kansas State, right? TCU.
Yeah.
But not Wisconsin. But that's okay. Did you make any bets?
Did. Let me down. And
Did you take they cover when you said they wouldn't?
yes, they took the under because I wasn't expecting after what we did to Tennessee. I wasn't expecting Mississippi State to catch.
Right.
I mean, 19, but still, that was enough to blow me out.
Yeah.
And that was my only loss in my parlay too.
Dang.
Mm-hmm.
Dang. Yeah, that sucks.
Be your own people. Your own people.
Yeah. I know, right? What a bummer. So, but hey, at least you're in the second round of the playoffs. Y'all play Chambly.
Yes.
What's that game gonna be like? Y'all ready for that?
We're ready. We had a great practice today. It's amazing how much better your team practices when it's not scalding hot outside. Had a great Monday. Whenever you have a great Monday, that gives you confidence going into Friday. So we'll see if we can put together a good week. And third round, we host the playoffs. The third round of the playoffs, won the coin flip today. So if we win, we're at home again for the third round.
Wait, it goes to a coin flip for the next rounds?
We do it now. When we were, it was.
I was always higher seed no matter what.
Yeah. So when two number ones meet, it's got to go to a coin.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that makes sense.
When we were in school, it always flipped. It'd be North School 1 year, it'd be South School if they were both number one. They
Gotcha.
just do a universal coin flip for all the brackets, and today one, so we get to host.
Yeah. Well, that's exciting. You won the coin flip, so you're ready to rock and roll. I learned a little fun fact about the TSSAA state playoffs is they predetermine the home teams throughout the whole thing.
Really?
Yeah.
That's not fair.
Except for the first round. I think it's for the ensuing rounds. They'll predetermine just by slot, they'll say, and then when they fill out the brackets, it's kind of luck of draw. So like,
yeah,
you don't know that a certain team's going to be a home team. It's like the team that's on the top side of each bracket or whatever, or the team that's on the bottom side of each bracket, as you go is the home team. So
yeah, that's kind of how we do it, but it changes every round. So they did one today for the third round. They'll do another one for the fourth round, and obviously the championship. So I think your way is the same way that we're doing it, but it's a coin flip. Pretty much, it's not predetermined already. It's more so like you just hope it lands on heads, and it's all the way across the board.
Okay, well there you go. So all of our lone Greek listener in the what's now the Hellenic Republic will appreciate that explanation. It's crazy. I'm on the Bleav, like the back pages of like where I can see all the analytics and all the stats, from our show. So like to give you a little update here, we've had since this show launched, we've had almost 3,000 downloads. We had 3 downloads today. We've had 50 over the last 7. Our best performing show right now is still the national championship preview from last season. Our number one listening method is Apple Podcasts. We get 76% of our users that use Apple. We get 7% that use Spotify. 3 that use this app called Overcast. And then it's a whole bunch of like 1 and some change percent of like RSS Radio, Stitcher, iTunes, Pocket Cast, SiriusXM, which we have 22 downloads on SiriusXM, which is, it's not much in the grand scheme of things, but we just started on there. We just hit that, app. So hopefully that number will grow.
That's pretty good there. I mean, I must say, we must be doing a pretty good job.
Yeah, so we're chugging right along. Our views on our YouTube channel are rising. So it's exciting times. We're picking up steam. So if you want to be a part of the Bleav in Georgia Dawgs podcast, go to our YouTube channel, subscribe, get in on the chat. The chat is open for those of you that want to join in and join the show. As always, you can follow us on social media and get all the insights from my man, Israel Troop. So let's rewind 2 weeks ago because you were in the house in the Tennessee game, and I never got a chance to talk to you about this really. You sent me videos, you sent me pictures. Just how loud did it get?
It was for our listeners, if you've ever been to a Georgia game, our announcer, he always says third down on third down, obviously. He said it a couple of times. You couldn't even hear him say third down. And, big, huge speaker on the big screen, phenomenal speakers, and couldn't even hear him say third down. It was very, very loud.
Was it the loudest stadium you've ever been in, playing or attending?
That was by far the loudest. Before that, I think it was the Auburn game when we came out in black jerseys was probably the loudest at Sanford Stadium. But because I didn't go to Notre Dame game, but they said that was pretty loud too. But this game had to top that one. I know Arkansas was really loud last year. But this
There was a game
here,
in
it was
there was a game in 2004 where Nick Saban came in with LSU, and I was there. It was ridiculous. My ears were ringing for a week.
People were in the stadium like an hour and a half before kickoff. I mean, like the whole bottom section on the visitor side was pretty much full. Like an hour and a half before kickoff. So people showed out, and they showed out. Spike Squad over there getting it.
There you go.
It was awesome.
Well, that's good, man. So, give me an update on the amenities, the changes. What's going on with Sanford Stadium? Was it a good experience for you?
It was a great experience. They got so many workers now. Directing people to the seats. The lines aren't very long. I mean, they do a really good job of accommodating people. Your cell phone works in the stadium now because
that's good.
I know when I was in school and you were there was absolutely no reception in the stadium whatsoever.
Well, cell phones weren't really a huge. Yeah, you were sending me picture messages, so I assume it's had to work at some point. Hell, you sent me a video.
So, I mean, cell phones are awesome. So
yeah,
they've done. I think they're going to do some more. There's still no alcohol sales there, but I think they're moving toward that eventually. Hopefully.
Did you sneak some airplane bottles in your boots?
I thought about it because I completely forgot, but it was a long time to sit from a tailgate whole football game.
Yeah, I was going to say you could have. Like how thorough did they check Lindsay's purse? So you could have snuck a few in her stuff.
Yeah, well, they got clear bags now.
Oh yeah.
They look at your butt. I mean, I had enough to slide a ball or two in my pocket or in my shirt. But it was fun though. I mean, we had a great time. Got to see some of the former players, some of the older players out there before I got there. Old friends from college and stuff too. So it was a great experience. Great birthday. We won region and Georgia won. So
hey,
there's that.
That's not a bad deal. So if you're a former player, man, come join Israel and I on the show. Terrence Edwards looking at you. Tavares King, Caleb King, Chris Burnett, come on back. We've had you once before. Vince Vance, all those guys. Let's the invitation is out there officially. I'll make this a clip.
And
I'm doing
call outs. Players.
Do you want to call some people
after the coffee game? Washawn Ely, I hadn't seen him.
Oh, there's a name I haven't heard in a while. Is he coaching at Elbert County or Coffee County?
No, he was. No, his nephew is the running back.
Okay.
For Coffee, he came over and saw.
In a while. Yeah.
I was like, dang, man, I ain't seen you in time. We keep up with each other. That's one thing that we do well of. Most of us who played together during that time, we all pretty much keep up with each other. So it was good to see him. It was last weekend, I guess.
I got a story about Washawn Ely. I was when he was being recruited. I was in the I came back for a season. I'd already graduated, moved on, and came back for a season in an interim position, taking over for Barry Every when he left, doing like recruiting film. I remember one morning I was sitting in there. We'd get buckets and buckets of DVDs. DVDs were still a thing, so we get these huge buckets full of DVDs, and I'm like picking through them. I like watch the first 30 seconds, and if it doesn't jump out, I just pull it and throw it away. And so I'm in the middle of doing that. I'm going through, it was kind of a slow morning, so I was just plowing through these tapes, and Fabris walks in and says, "Hey, I need to ask you a question. Come with me or something." I'm thinking he's going to ask me like how to turn on a computer or like something technical. It's always that. It's always like this dadgum computer. Like I did that for Jancic one time. Like he couldn't he couldn't figure out. He was mad that his laptop wasn't turning on and he just didn't press the power button. Like that kind of stuff.
Good old technology,
man. Just like simple things, But Fabris was like, "Hey, there's this kid down at ECI, running back." I was like, "Yeah, Washawn Ely. what's going on?" He's like, "He's legit, isn't he?" Like he was like picking my brain up about Washaun Healy, and I think he, obviously he knew that he was a special dude. I think it was right before he committed. And I was like, "Yeah, that dude's special, man. He jumps off the page. He's so explosive, and he just runs away from people." And I just kind of gave him my spiel about Washaun Healy, and he's like, "All right, yeah, I agree." And then he's like so excited that like I said that about Washaun Healy, and then he, because that was his territory, and he was so thrilled that I said that, and then I just went about my day after that. So I thought that was kind of funny. Like that like if you don't know who John, if you don't know John Fabris, that's just kind of how he is,
You just
He's
needed
real
one
like
person
brief,
to agree. Like, yeah. Okay.
He just needed one thing. What's up, Cassidy? So yeah, it was. I had a good laugh about that one. So that was funny. But so yeah, this weekend was good. Yeah, let's call out some form. Let's get Washaun Healy on. Speaking of, let's get Washaun Healy on the show.
Mhm.
Let's get him on. Let's have him on as a guest. If he likes to do Dawgs After Dark, we should say, because we're on that coach's schedule. We have to do Dawgs After Dark. But
Yeah.
if any of you guys, again, the invitation's always open, no matter who you are, no matter what area you played in. The invitation is always there. I'd like to know from Terrence what it was like to transition from Don into Rick. And then some of the Rick and Kirby guys, like how that transition was,
Mhm.
It's always
I
interesting.
forgot about that. Some of those guys were there during that transition.
Yeah, because Terrence, when I came in as a freshman, Terrence was a senior,
Mhm.
and he was a pun intended, full pun intended here, but he was a dog.
Yeah.
And he got
He
so much
was.
grief for that, like all the crazy stuff he did. He forever got grief that season for that one pass he dropped against Florida, which people were like, "Oh, we would have won if Terrence Edwards would have caught that pass." And I'm like, I mean, it might have helped, but no, like we threw a pick six. We just defense fell apart towards the end of the. We just stalled out on a few series. We just a lot of things happened. A lot of things went wrong at the end of that game.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you remember. I don't know if you were. How old were you in 2002? Fall of 2002. So it would have been a 02-03 school year. 8th grade?
I was in 8th grade, yeah.
So were you paying attention to Georgia football then in 8th grade? Or
No,
were you
I
kind
was
of more of a
Florida State fan. I was a big Peter Warwick, Chris.
love me some Pete Warwick.
Dunn. I was a Deion Sanders, a big Florida State fan.
Yeah, prime. Yeah, my dad played at Florida State back in the 60s. He's a Seminole. He was pretty.
That's where I wanted to go originally.
Yeah. Did they offer you baseball too? Was that a factor in your recruiting?
Not football.
Oh, they did. Okay, so they did the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
Were you kind of looking for like the 2-sport offer at that time, or were you just?
I was. Clemson. I think it was Leggett was the head baseball coach during that time. And he flat out was like, "No, we're not here." And lo and behold, a couple later, I'm like, "Your quarterback football and baseball at the same."
Yeah.
Pretty much every school that I taught was allowing me to play both during that time. So
and
that's
pretty
much a
that's a bunch of BS because they offered Francoeur football and baseball. Jeff Francoeur. I don't know if you
that's
knew
what
that
I knew.
But
that's what I knew, and I was like, "You're a liar."
Yeah. You just don't want to offer me. That's what it was. Cassidy, he came in as a quarterback on the chat there. My dad came in as a quarterback, converted to free safety. Picked off Jim Donnan, actually, in the bowl game.
Nice.
Got knocked out in the first ever Peach Bowl in the opening kickoff. Him and some dude from Wake Forest just destroyed each other. That's when they wore it was plastic with just like a belt around your head, and it was just suspended.
Yeah.
There was like zero padding. You know those little like plastic helmet sets you got as a little kid?
Mm-hmm.
It was like that cheap football uniform in a box. It was like kind of like that, you know.
Yeah,
Just a
what I
hard
just got for
plastic
my son.
shell. Yeah. It's just like a hard plastic shell with like a net, basically.
Yeah.
So like concussions were plentiful, but yeah, he got knocked out cold. So yeah. But anyway, we digress. But the game this weekend, the game at Mississippi State started off kind of sluggish, gave up a punt return for a touchdown. Ultimately, it was a 49-16 victory for the Dawgs. Ladd McConkey scored a pair of touchdowns. Starkville made his return. Must have got a fresh, tight fade before the game because Starkville made his return, snatched a few more ankles. But overall, like just a really, really good effort, just hanging in there. There was plenty of times where Georgia teams of the past would have probably made that game way closer than it should have been. And they didn't. Like, especially after the punt return going into halftime, I'm like, okay, this is going to be an interesting second half. And it really wasn't.
No, I had to watch it because we obviously played last Saturday. I caught the little bit of the third going into the fourth. I mean, like you said, it was cold. That cold front came through. I mean, you leave here. I mean, Friday was
what did it get down to there?
Here. Saturday actually it got down to like 68, and then Sunday 58. You know, on Sunday, and clearly,
you're such a warm weather. Yeah, it was 31 degrees all day Saturday.
Yeah, no. So, but yeah, Mason played great. I think I tweeted this out, last Saturday when we played Tennessee. Every time he gets a haircut, the man balled. He did. He did against Tennessee. He did last week. One was a batted ball. You can't help that. It does happen from time to time. And I forget how the other one happened, but turn the ball over a little bit. But it does happen. You're not going through that many balls and one not get picked up every once in a while. So that at all. But once he settled down, started clicking. I mean, lap guy. Not only do you have to account for Bowers, you got to account for Washington, Rosemary Jack Saint. I mean, Carriers made it. So plenty of weapons that now going into a game that defense has the game plan for.
And AD Mitchell's not even a factor right now because he's out, and that's what's scary. Like Bowers had a hell of a game, like Cassidy said. Darnell Washington had a hell of a game. Rosemary Jack Saint had a hell of a game. But what I was proud of our guys for doing is Mississippi State was a lot better up front than I thought they were. And we were able. I mean, running the ball was tough sledding at times, and our guys just hung in there, kept battling, was able to get enough in the run game to open up things for McConkey, to open up things for Bowers, to open up things for the passing game. And, I thought our guys did really well hanging in there when, you got the cowbells in your ear, their front guys, especially their down linemen are having a successful day, successful night. And, it's a road game. It's loud. Everything's going against you. And they just hung in there. I was proud of that.
Oh yeah. And it's amazing how that stadium is, because when we played there, I think it was 2000 and I think or 10, one of the years.
That's before they did the additions, right?
Yeah,
back then it was still just two-sided with a field house.
Yeah, that whole end was open and now it's closed. I mean, there's a lot more noise coming from that end of the stadium now. But the stadium looks good. I mean, Mississippi State didn't come out and lay down. That defense, Mississippi State always had a really good defensive line. So it's going to be really, really fun watching them go at it next week for the good old Egg Bowl. Because Mississippi State likes to run the ball. Mississippi State has a good defensive line. So but we put some drives together. We settled down. Kirby was amazingly calm, maybe because it was so cold. But
he did ask Tresimon Marshall if he was sure he wanted to play and what the F is wrong with you. He did have his moments.
Yeah.
He goes, "Do you want to play?" You could read his lips perfectly. "Do you want to play? Do you want to play? What the is wrong with you?"
Yeah. Yeah. It's amazing how that camera just always catches those moments. It's amazing.
Well, you know, in that production meeting, they're like, "Hey, Kirby's gonna say something crazy. Just make sure you're on him. Anytime something crazy, anytime something bad happens, just find Kirby. He's probably saying something to somebody."
Just pan that camera over there and read those for just a second.
They always catch him saying "boom, mother," you know what? I'm trying not to get our clean rate. I'm trying to keep our clean rating here. He's always saying some crazy stuff.
Yeah,
I love it.
I
love it.
Football. We're playing some scary football because they did the numbers from this year's team, and defensively they're dang near identical. Mm-hmm. We're lighting it up offensively. We're using all our weapons. East, which is great. We're going to meet LSU, who's obviously side too. Yeah, so right now we control our destiny. See anybody that'll be in the top 4 that beat us. The only team that can beat us is ourselves. So,
let's get into that a little bit then. You know, the top 4. I feel like it's going to stay relatively the same. I mean, nothing really changed much. I mean, Ohio State obliterated Indiana. They'll stay at number 2. Michigan did their job. They'll stay at 3. TCU did their work on Texas. They'll stay. I feel like for the first time, it's going to stay exactly the way it is. So, like, I live in Tennessee, right? I live in Nashville. So all I hear is all the UT chatter, all the Vols, man. They're like, "Man, you only beat us by 14. If we get you on a neutral site, we're going to win. We'll see you in the playoff." So, no,
we travel
my
well,
thought,
guys. We travel well. Did you not see the game a couple of years ago?
We take over stadiums nowadays. Yeah. We do that. We take over. I mean, they travel pretty well too, but I just don't think they're going to get in. No. I really don't. Because they're going to get jumped. Who do they get jumped by? They're going to get jumped by somebody. TCU. I think it's going to be TCU is going to move up when Michigan or Ohio State loses. They're just going to bump up. They're already ahead of them. But if Oregon was one of those teams, but now it's up to USC. USC's got to win out, or maybe like, do you still put in Clemson? 1-loss ACC champ?
No, can't put them in. I don't think you put them in just because of their resume.
Was atrocious, and they got it.
Would be North Carolina. I think North Carolina has a really good
state.
Beat them.
NC State was ranked at the time. Wake Forest was a top 10 at the time. But no, I don't know. It's up to USC, I think. USC's got to win out at this point.
So Oregon lost this week?
Because Oregon lost to Washington.
That's right.
They lost. Yeah, your Saturday really was messed up. It threw you off.
Yeah.
We had a busy Saturday. I didn't watch a ton, but
let's see. I think it'll be us, Michigan, Ohio State win, then TCU. TCU, a 4th bubble team, which I could see them trying to get Tennessee because they do have quality wins. That's going to be a tough one. It's going to be tough to leave them out. If between Michigan and Ohio State, it's going to be really tough to leave Tennessee out.
But you get a 1-loss USC with a Heisman caliber quarterback. Does that make a difference?
I think that makes a difference. Conference winner. They hadn't had an easy road. They did lose to Utah, but kind of see how that's kind of see. It's kind of hard to leave the conference winner out, in my opinion. But if it goes to the best team, I think Tennessee.
If you had the final vote on the committee, and it shakes out like this: Clemson wins the ACC, USC wins the Pac-12 with one loss. You got Tennessee sitting there with one loss, and you got Michigan sitting there with one loss. Who's the fourth team? And how do you shake the bracket up? See, to me, yeah. So to me, I would go TCU 3, USC 4.
Yeah, I think I'd go that way too.
And the winner of the winner of the Michigan Ohio State game would get left out, or the loser of that. Because you've got to if you have an 11-1 West Coast team and the national championships in LA, you got to put them in, right?
That's true. I think you do. I think
for the chance of getting a West Coast viewership.
But then you also get the argument that, well, Alabama lost one, had one loss, and they still got put in.
It's different circumstances. When Alabama got in, who do they really jump? There was nobody else. It's a different animal here.
But if LSU beats us in the SEC championship game,
we probably
leave Georgia out.
You don't, probably not.
We're number 4.
Yeah, we go to number 4 and play Ohio State. Is what'll happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if we lose the SEC championship, which hope to God we don't, have some weird game plan like we did last year, we should win that game. But I just think, I don't know, like Jay Daniels is good, but I just think we match up well against LSU. But that'll be later on, and we'll have Blake Ruffino on from AYS Sports, Are You Serious Sports, to talk a little LSU. But it's interesting. Like, to me, if somehow Oregon wins the Pac-12 with 2 losses, you can't put them in.
No.
You can't put them in with 2 losses. No. So a 2-loss team is not getting in unless it's LSU.
Mm-hmm. And that's because they beat their strength schedule, number 1, pretty much swept everybody and beat the number 1 team in the nation.
Yeah. And is a conference champion. Yeah. What's up, Don? So yeah, I think, but let's say Tennessee does get in. Let's say Tennessee does get the nod. Do they do like they did last year where they throw them in at 3 so you don't have a rematch right off the bat? Where they play Ohio State and we play TCU.
I think to be fair.
And then possibly get the rematch.
I would think the committee would want a match. I think that's how they do it.
They didn't do it. They didn't do it that way last year, because we should have slotted in at 4 and we came in at 3, just for the matchup sake, because we got Michigan. That's how we played Michigan. We lost. We should have been 4 and rematching against Alabama, but we didn't. We came in at 3, and I think that was purely just to get the matchup with Michigan.
I think they'd want to see us in Tennessee play again, in my opinion. I would want to see us play again.
I think they would try to set that up as the national championship, because, to be honest, I think Tennessee is better than Ohio. Tennessee's a better version of Ohio State, because they actually play more defense than Ohio State does. But I think,
game.
They wanted Georgia Bama for the Natty last year. They wanted that game for the Natty. They did not want Bama Michigan for the Natty. They wanted Bama Georgia for the Natty, not the first round, not the semifinal. So they're going to try to set up that matchup for the Natty. And if Tennessee loses to Ohio State, then you still got a good national championship game, given that Georgia beats TCU. You still got a good it's a no lose situation, I think, for ratings if you get an Ohio State or Tennessee matched up with Georgia in the national championship, because both the teams are very, very similar.
Yeah, you get true at that point.
Yeah,
and you once again get true 1 and 2 if you put Tennessee in there too.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. So, I think it's going to be a tough decision for the committee, but I think ultimately, if USC wins out, they're going to be hard to keep out. If TCU does their job, wins out, they're going to be hard to keep out.
Yeah,
an undefeated conference, undefeated Power 5 champion. You can't, if you do that, then it's a sham.
Yeah,
I don't care how bad they are. It's a sham. If the system is a sham, if you leave them out, you cannot leave them out undefeated. You can't. You can't do it. Nobody wants to see TCU in the playoff, but here we are.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to keep even though they do have 2 losses, a 2-loss Q team out that has ran the gauntlet and won the SEC. It's gonna be hard to keep them out too.
Their resume is ridiculous.
Yeah,
Alabama beat a top 10 Ole Miss team, then turn around 2 weeks later and beat Alabama, who's top 6, and then we'll turn around and they're going to beat the 3-8 Texas A&M Aggies. That's a resume builder.
That would be their only down. Slip up and lose this one.
Oh my God, that'd be hilarious. That would be
rough.
That'd be really rough. I don't know why it'd be funny, but it would be. Mm-hmm. So this freaking close, LSU. Let's make it a game here. All right, let's make it a game. May the best team win. Speaking of may the best team win, Vandy snapped their conference losing streak against Kentucky.
They did.
I got a lot less worried about that game all of a sudden.
The head coach is over there cutting onions, crying. You can tell that it's getting better at Vandy. They're finishing games. Nobody gave them against Kentucky. Hell, I didn't either.
No, I sure as heck didn't.
They came out, in Kentucky's backyard and did a great job, great game plan, and capped off a big win against the Wildcats of Kentucky.
They kept harassing Levis. They did a great job.
Kentucky's mindset going into this game Saturday. Or are they still licking their wounds from losing to Vandy? One of their practices like this.
They are tail spinning. They are tail spinning in a hurry. Like it's bad. Like this is the game, because they tail spun against. They got obliterated by Tennessee. Then they turn around and lose to Vanderbilt. And they lost earlier in the season at home to South Carolina. They're just tail spinning.
And there's head coach speculations here and there.
Might not be a bad move for them at this point.
There's a lot going on at Kentucky right now.
Yeah, it's interesting. Are you going to go on Vinny's show this week?
I'm going to try to. This whole playoff mess is
playoffs. Yeah.
Is that how Georgia football is? Yeah.
I'm a Georgia guy. It gets way intense. I wish my teams I played on would have made it that far, but didn't.
Everybody's on upset this week, especially. So,
well, it's second round. It's all yeah. What's up, Donnie? We got Donnie Wilkerson joining the chat. Looks like he's a 2-time champion there. So, yeah, Kentucky. Will Levis is struggling, man. Struggling.
Yeah. That offense is a little bit down. One big staple that they've always had is a good offensive line struggling. All to run the football well.
They're doing that, but they're not doing that consistently, though. It's not consistent.
Will Levis is still hurt. in my opinion. He doesn't look comfortable.
It's gotta be. I hope I hope that he is still banged up, because otherwise his draft stock is plummeting.
Yeah, it doesn't look good for
Yeah,
him.
I hope it comes out that he's still beat up and trying to gut through it, because that's the only thing that'll explain some of this poor performance that he's been having. But
he's been struggling a lot. Basically, the
what-
whole
what
team's
I
been
hate-
struggling. Defense a little bit too.
What I hate
they
about
have
this
Keegan
offense,
over there.
yeah, they're banged up, they've had injuries, but their offensive coordinator hadn't helped them out really. Like, you watch them, it's very like, it's just looks very scripted, like too scripted.
Yeah.
Like somebody threw together a script that they weren't really sure about the script. They were just saying, okay, I think this might work. It's what it looks
put this
like.
on
I
the-
mean, look, it just, there's no rhythm to it, it seems like.
No.
And
No.
you know, as a play caller, you got to get in a rhythm.
Oh yeah,
You get a rhythm, it's over.
It's not always just looking at that call sheet, find what to do. I mean, you kind of get a feel for the game, and you just roll with it. But now, like you said, it just seems like they're trying to find stuff that'll work, and not going with what's working or what has worked in the past for them. I mean, you go back and look at the Ole Miss game. I mean, it took them a while to figure it out, but when they did, great things happened during that game. So it's one of those things to where, don't outcoach yourself. What can we do well, and go with it, because you know what you're going to get from Georgia. You're going to get some man, you're going to get some zone, you're going to get a lot of blitzes, 3-4 dudes down there that can hit your quarterback. So depends on how much you love Will Levis.
Georgia's gonna make sure that they're gonna check it. They're gonna see if he's still banged up. We're gonna check every bit of that. So,
Jalen Carter is hungry. He's trying to get that stock, and he is not playing around.
and at the beginning of the season, when I looked at this game, I was like, we get Kentucky late on the road. It's always kind of a tough place. It's always a weird place for us, because, it just, for some reason, I don't know what it is about. I mean, what is it? I mean, you played at Kentucky, right? What is it about that? What is it about that stadium that makes it just oddly difficult?
It's just something about Kentucky as a team. You always kind of like Vandy. Everybody's like, probably gonna beat Vandy. Yeah, maybe, but he just has our number. Same thing with Kentucky. I remember 2009 when we lost to them at home. I mean, we're pretty much dominating the whole entire game. And then they come back. There's a picture of me walking off the field, and just like, he just lost to Kentucky at home. You know what I mean? So they're just Kentucky. I mean, that they're going to be well coached. That's number one. You know that going into it. They're going to play hard. Their sole objective is to beat you, Georgia. So now that they've redone the stadium, it's not as creepy as it used to look, because Commonwealth looked really creepy back in the day when we went over there. So it was just one place where like a little fog comes over the field, and like the goat Kentucky passed, would just come over the field, and you be rolling. Next thing you know, it's a fumble. And then something
Just
catastrophic
stuff.
happens.
Yeah, just ultimate fluky stuff.
Barely get out of there, So
yeah,
everything that happened in 2008 when we played over there, we're up. And, I think that through a pick, or we fumbled or something. This game's a lot closer than it should be.
What did Coach Rick say after the 2009 game?
Nothing really. Just like, they got us. There's really not anything to say. It was just like one of those, just like, what the F happened? You just kind of look at me like, what happened? Like, we're look up and the clock is 0. You're going to lose an end.
And you're like, wait a second. And it just happened so quick. I remember watching that game going, what? I was just as baffled as y'all were, probably. So
like one thing after another. It's like, God dang, well, we can buy a break.
I know. You want to make some picks?
Let's do it.
All right, let's make some picks, and some of these may change throughout the course of the week, but we give you the super early picks to chew on and to marinate while you go throughout your week. Let's see. Let's do it. All right. Our first contest. Florida Vanderbilt. This is an interesting line. Florida comes to Nashville. Florida is only 14-point favorites in Nashville.
I like it.
The over-under set at 57.5.
I'm taking Florida by 14. Florida is playing some good football. South Carolina, they stuck. And after coming back and beat Texas A&M down the way they were, 41 like that.
They're figuring it out. Anthony Richardson, we must have broke him to the point where they had to fix him.
Yeah,
and he looks good now. They fixed him quite nicely.
If he stays one more year, going to be one heck of a quarterback and make a lot of money.
Yeah. If not, maybe the Bucs will draft him and let him sit for a year while Tom Brady plays into his 50s.
They still got Trask at Tampa Bay too. Former Florida quarterback.
I don't think they're ever going to go to Trask, unfortunately. Probably should. He's pretty good. Mm-hmm. Here's an interesting line. It is a Big 12 championship. It has college football playoff implications. Very tricky place. I remember in 2014, this was a huge game, but TCU travels to Baylor is only 2.5-point favorites.
I like TCU. I think TCU is going to find in this game.
They're on a roll. They are on a roll, my friend. Some kind of weak games this week. Clemson, Miami. Clemson is 19-point favorites over Miami. Is Miami that bad, or is Clemson that good, or combination of both? The over-under is only set for 40.
Yeah, I don't think Clemson's going to cover that. I think Miami come out and play some really good ball. Fuse, DJ, Klubnik, he'll come in and do something. I think they might be close. Jakari Brown from Lowndes right here in Valdosta has been started at Miami. He's playing really well. So I think they're starting to slow it out at Miami. Coach Cristobal, so I think this is going to be a lot closer than 19.
Hopefully, for their sake, they are. For now, until they show me that they figured some stuff out, I'm going to go ahead and take Clemson on that. I may be wrong. Don't put any real money on that if I were you. But, all right, Georgia, Kentucky. Georgia is 22.5-point favorites. I know it's been tough picking Georgia as a heavy favorite in these games, but I think they cover this one.
I think they cover this one too. Kentucky's licking their wounds. I think it's time for us to finally cover a spread, and I like it. Going into Thanksgiving week against the Bumblebees of Georgia.
The Bumblebees. All right. Texas, Kansas. This has always been one of those this has been a lot of hide under the bed matchup for the Texas Longhorns. They travel to Lawrence to take on the Rock Chalk Jayhawks. Kansas home underdogs by 9, so +9 there. Do they cover that? Do they win outright, or does Texas take this one?
I think Texas takes this one. I think Sark gets them back after losing last week. You got to think the defense ain't bad. The defense ain't bad. You just never know what Texas team you're going to get. You got the one that played against Alabama, which should have won that ball game. Mm-hmm. And then you get like what you got last week. You know, and just like, God dang, what is going on in Texas? But I think they're still like a year away from being really, really good at Texas. They're going in the right direction.
Yeah, I think so. The big game, Stanford Cal. a game that we haven't picked in a while. Cal's actually 5-point favorites, as bad as they've been. Stanford is worse, but they're 5-point favorites at home. I guess it's Marshawn Lynch night where he's going to drive the injury cart.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. If that's the case, I'm taking Cal. But I did see that Cal made some more changes this week. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. But Stanford is Stanford. Coach Shaw's trying his best over there. I wonder if he'll ever be on the hot seat.
At Stanford, I think it'll take I don't think it'll take a lot for him to be on the hot seat because I think he does a lot of things right. I just don't think it's going well for him this year. This is the first year that they've really been bad. They've been sliding a little bit, but this is the first year they've really just been. You're just looking at them going, "What is this?" Yeah,
what is going on?
Yeah, a couple SEC games. Tennessee at South Carolina. Tennessee 22-point favorites. I guess they're trying to prove to the committee, so I think they cover, and then some.
I do too.
And then some more.
Yeah. They might
Ole Miss at Arkansas. Yeah. Ole Miss at Arkansas. Arkansas is struggling, but they had it. They put LSU through the ringer this past week. So Ole Miss is kind of looking for a revenge game here, looking to get back on top after they dropped a tough one to Alabama. I think Ole Miss is going to win and cover at 2.5 on the road. What do you think?
I like Ole Miss here. Listen to Lane Kiffin in his press conference. Pressure is going to lead to a little fire lit under them going into this week. I hate it for Coach Pittman. Just one of those years, it's kind of we're doing really well, and then it just kind of falls out from up under you because you got a couple of injuries here and there. So I'm taking Ole Miss in this one as well. Arkansas.
Great pick. All right, last one for huge playoff implications. Winner of this likely puts themselves in the driver's seat for a playoff spot, given that they win in the Pac-12 championship. Could be a rematch in the Pac-12 championship based on, depending on the result. If UCLA wins, it could be a rematch. If USC wins, they'll probably match up with Oregon for the championship or maybe Utah for the championship. But this could determine that fourth and final spot. USC, UCLA in the Rose Bowl. USC is 1.5-point favorite, so basically a pick 'em. Over under set at 75.
I like you here.
I like USC in the under. I think it's a really high over under.
Yeah, I think USC is going to pull this one off.
I
like them offensively. Katie is obviously, with Lincoln Riley. I think their defense is a little bit better than UCLA's right now too. So this is exactly. I think I'm going to go with USC.
UCLA's kind of fun. Yeah. The real USC, you mean?
Yeah.
The only USC. I never refer to South Carolina as USC. I never will. So, and I hope you guys were making your picks as well. Yeah, Jimbo's getting left in Auburn to hitchhike back home. Cassidy says she hopes that UGA beats LSU. Donnie, hope you like our picks there. Both Dons. And yeah. And Donnie Wilkerson also likes Ole Miss. So well, that's going to do it for us. We're going to wrap this thing up here on a Monday evening. So we are the Bleav of Georgia Dawgs podcast on the Bleav Network. For all you viewers out there, make sure you take advantage of ButcherBox. If you go and click into the audio version, you will hear a more detailed ad about ButcherBox. But there is a great promo that we are running if you like that kind of thing. If you kind of like that HelloFresh, but it's just meat that's delivered to your doorstep, it's a good listen. So stay tuned. It'll be a pre-roll, a post-roll, and mid-show roll, I think. So you're gonna hear about Butcher Box like 3 times. So for all the YouTube viewers that don't necessarily get that version, make sure you click on the audio. So go Dogs, take care of everyone. Like Kirby said last year, we're not practicing to beat somebody, we're practicing to beat everybody, which I think is true. That's it. So, Israel, best of luck. We'll see you in the quarterfinals next week. We'll see everyone here back next week. And we hope you have a great rest of your week. We hope you, if you're in some of the more northern states, we hope you stay warm. We hope you have a wonderful weekend. If you make the trip up to Lexington, be careful and win lots of money at Keeneland. And as always, we'll see you back here next time. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.